Arita is a short, overweight boy who suffers from low self-esteem as a result of frequent attacks by Arita and his gang at Umesato Junior High School. To relieve his angst, he resorts to playing squash in the school's virtual world network, where he consistently achieves the highest scores. Chihiri Kirishima, Haru's childhood friend, offers to have lunch with him and suggests that he report the delinquents to the school board, but he rejects her pity, knocking her lunch basket to the ground. Later, when he returns to play squash, he discovers that his highest score has been surpassed by Kuroyukihime, the student council vice president, who invites him to lunch the next day. Haru meets with Kuroyukihime, who offers to cable with him, which surprises the other upperclassmen. She then gives him a program called Brain Burst. After it has been successfully installed, Arita appears, and Kuroyukihime provokes him into punching Haru, at which point she demonstrates how to activate the potential of Brain Burst, virtually accelerating their cognitive processes to the point where time appears to stop around them. While Haru is in the accelerated mode, Kuroyukihime advises him to let Arita's punch connect with him, knocking himself at her so that the school's cameras and nearby witnesses will catch Arita violently attacking them. Putting an end to Haru's mockery, Haru agrees, and Arita and his gang are apprehended by security. As Haru and Chihiri walk home from school, they run into Takumu Mayuzumi, Haru's other childhood friend. But Haru flees after suspecting Chihiri of informing Takumu about the delinquents. Later that night, Haru has a nightmare in which he encounters delinquents and is pitied by Chihiri and Takumu, and he wishes to fly away from his torment before waking up. Despite Kuroyukihime's warning not to connect to the Globalnet, Haru does so and is transported into a war-torn world with a new robotic avatar body before being defeated by another burst linker named Ash Roller. Haru realizes Brain Burst is a VR MMO fighting game. At lunch, Kuroyukihime explains to Haru the rules of Brain Burst, in which burst linkers must duel in order to earn burst points, which can be spent on acceleration powers. She also explains that Silver Crow, his Brain Burst avatar, was created from his subconscious as a result of his inferiority complex. Despite Kuroyukihime's offer to return to his normal life, Haru declines, preferring to assist her because she helped him with the delinquents. After they log out, Kuroyukihime explains her and Haru's relationship to some curious students, claiming she confessed to him but he rejected her, much to the students' surprise and Haru's horror. Haru enters the accelerated world after school, armed with new information from Kuroyukihime. To rematch with Ash Roller, Silver Crow launches a surprise attack from the top of a building, hoping to win by timeout because Ash Roller can't climb buildings due to his motorcycle. Despite this, Ash Roller, who has upgraded his motorcycle to climb walls, makes it to the top and repeatedly overruns Silver Crow. After suffering from his attacks, Silver Crow discovers Ash Roller's flaw, his motorcycle's rear-wheel drive. He then lifts the rear wheel off the ground, immobilizing Ash Roller and finishing him off with a headbutt, winning the duel while impressing the other burst linkers who were watching. Kuroyukihime congratulates Haru as he logs out. Chihiri then confronts Kuroyukihime, asking if she is manipulating Haru. Kuroyukihime informs Chihiri of her relationship with Haru and drags him to a cafe. While there, Kuroyukihime tells Haru about her predicament. Brain Burst was created anonymously 7 years ago, and it only allows acceleration to those who were born with the neurolinker. As a result, all burst linkers are children aged 15 and under, allowing its existence to remain unknown to the general public. Kuroyukihime wishes to meet the program's creator in order to learn more about its purpose. To do so, she must first reach level 10, which requires 5 victories over level 9 burst linkers, with 1 defeat resulting in the permanent removal of Brain Burst. 2 years ago, Kuroyukihime was one of the kings of Pure Color, a group of level 9 burst linkers who agreed not to fight each other, but she refused to sign the treaty and beheaded the Red King, earning her the label of traitor and forcing her to seal away Black Lotus. She has remained offline since then, only logging on to the school's local network with a dummy avatar. She was recently challenged to a duel by a burst linker named Cyan Pile, which could reveal her true identity as Black Lotus. As a result, she must discover Cyan Pile's identity. She suspects Chiyuri, which is why she provoked her, though Haru doubts it because Chiyuri isn't very good at games. Haru begins the investigation by going to Chiyuri's house and apologizing for lunch the previous day. The two reconnect via an extremely short cable and reconcile, with Chiyuri informing Haru that Takumu was not informed of the ridicule. During the conversation, Haru discovers that, while Chiyuri is not Cyan Pile, there is a backdoor connection that could lead to its identity being discovered. As Haru chooses not to tamper with the backdoor in order to avoid detection, he notices Kuroyukihime acting strangely around him after mentioning how close he had gotten to Chiyuri. When Haru is interviewed by a pair of Gossip Club students, they hint that Kuroyukihime genuinely likes him, which he denies. Haru resigns himself to being a pawn as Kuroyukihime and Haru walk together that day, prompting a slap from her. Just then, an out-of-control car swerves directly towards Haru and Kuroyukihime, prompting them to enter the Excel world. As Kuroyukihime confesses her feelings for Haru, she employs a powerful move known as Physical Full Burst, which causes her to lose nearly all of her burst points, allowing her to manipulate her body in the accelerated world to push Haru out of the way of the car, resulting in only her being hit. As Kuroyukihime is being taken to the intensive care unit, Haru realizes that if she is attacked by a burst linker now, she will be completely vulnerable, so he decides to stay the night. Haru notices Takumu entering the hospital in the morning and realizes he is the true Cyan Pile. Haru, with only a fraction of a second to act, rushes to challenge Takumu to a brain burst match before he can challenge Kuroyukihime. As Haru realizes what a horrible person Takumu is, he flees Cyan Pile's attacks, losing one of Silver Crow's arms in the process. Haru initially has the advantage due to his speed, but he is quickly hit by Takumu's special attack and loses a foot. Takumu hits Chiyuri with a powerful attack that leaves him with a fraction of his health as he vents his rage on how Chiyuri is always thinking about Haru. Haru ends up in a basement where he discovers Kuroyukihime's sleeping avatar, whose beating heart reminds him that strength isn't always about winning. Just then, Haru gains a new ability in the form of wings, transforming him into the first flying brain burst avatar and allowing him to fly back up and defeat Takumu's attack. Instead of defeating Takumu and losing all of his points and burst linker status, Haru invites him to become one of his allies and start over. Following that, Kuroyukihime appears and decides to reveal her avatar's true form, Black Lotus, to the audience, announcing her intentions. Everyone was surprised to discover that Black Lotus was still alive. Later, when Haru pays a visit to Kuroyukihime in the hospital, she tells him her true name. After Haru and Takumu reveal everything to Chiyuri, who is not pleased, the two begin training to be a tag team. Haru earns enough points to upgrade to level 2, but in his haste, he upgrades too soon, leaving him with a low number of burst points. Takumu offers to share some of his points with Haru, but he declines, claiming that it would devalue fighting. After that, the two go to Chiyuri's and eat ice cream together while explaining Brain Burst to Chiyuri. Takumu gets the idea to have Haru hire a bodyguard known as Aqua Current to protect him until he reaches a certain number of points. As Haru goes through the hiring procedures for Current, he inadvertently discovers it is a girl. Haru consults with Current, and then Aqua Current organizes a battle between two burst linkers. Takumu visits the hospital to meet Kuroyukihime, who activates her burst link and challenges him to a duel, during which she confronts him, asks why he left the Kendo Club, and why he wants to uninstall the Brain Burst program forcibly. Takumu realizes how much Haru admires him during this time. Current agrees to join Haru until he reaches 50 points and enters a tag match with him. As Kuroyukihime teaches Takumu to stop feeling guilty and to trust his friends more, Haru and Current win their match, bringing his points total back up to 54. Just then, Current challenges Haru to a match, intending to take all of his points. Haru reveals she was lying, telling him to treasure his friends before erasing his memory of her, as he continues to believe in her and does not fight back. Takumu transfers into Haru and Chihiri's school the next day, wearing glasses and hoping to see the true world with his own eyes. As Kuroyukihime's team attempts to expand their territory, Haru discovers that his opponents are picking up on his tactics. When he returns home, he is greeted by Tomoko Sato, his second cousin who is staying with him while her parents are away. Haru quickly realizes that she is a burst linker known as Scarlet Rain, who is revealed by Kuroyukihime to be the Red King. Following a mishap in the bathroom, Tomoko challenges him to a brain burst match, which he loses because he is too powerful. As a result of her victory in the match, Tomoko requests a real-life meeting with Kuroyukihime. Haru reveals to Kuroyukihime that she had a crush on the previous Red King, Red Rider, whom she had beheaded when she betrayed the other level 9 seconds. Kuroyukihime agrees to meet with Tomoko, whose real name is Yuniko Kazuki. After consulting with Takumu, Yuniko explains how she wants to use Haru's flight power to destroy the armor of catastrophe, an external item that transforms burst linkers into chrome disasters that Kuroyukihime thought was long gone. Yuniko reveals that the current chrome disaster is from her own legion, explaining how she needs Haru's flight to get close enough to use an ability to instantly defeat him after Kuroyukihime explains how she fought the last burst linker who was possessed by the armor. Kuroyukihime becomes envious of Yuniko after agreeing to the terms and decides to spend the night at Haru's house. Chihiri expresses an interest in becoming a burst linker after another misunderstanding is cleared up for her. Haru becomes curious about who her guardian was as Kuroyukihime explains how the ability to give someone a copy of Brain Burst and become their guardian can only be used once. When asked, Kuroyukihime only says that someone betrayed her trust, and she goes on to explain how a relationship between a guardian and a protege differs from others. Later that day, Haru, Kuroyukihime, Takumu, and Yuniko band together to search for Chrome Disaster in the unlimited Excel world. They are ambushed as they approach them by a group of burst linkers led by the Yellow King, Yellow Radio. Silver Crow and Scarlet Rain both realize that Yellow Radio is to blame for the 5th Chrome disaster. He then humiliates Black Lotus by playing a video of herself beheading Red Rider, the first Red King, causing her to faint. Silver Crow, Scarlet Rain, and Cyan Pile are then forced to face the Yellow Legion's onslaught. During the battle, Cyan Pile sacrifices himself to buy time for the others to flee, but their path is blocked by Yellow Radio's illusory special attack. As the Yellow Legion approaches, Silver Crow manages to rouse Black Lotus by reminding her of her objectives. Black Lotus, with the assistance of Silver Crow and Scarlet Rain, then eliminates the remaining members of the Yellow Legion before engaging in battle with Yellow Radio, the first time 2 level 9 burst linkers battled in the accelerated world. Yellow Radio is impaled by Chrome Disaster as they both charge up their special attacks. As Yellow Radio retreats, Black Lotus and Silver Crow battle Chrome Disaster. Scarlet Rain, on the other hand, attacks Chrome Disaster while Black Lotus is within range, incapacitating her. Despite Rain's alleged betrayal, Black Lotus assures Silver Crow that she is just afraid of having bonds within Brain Burst. As Chrome Disaster tries to flee the unlimited field, Silver Crow counterstrikes by using the wires he uses for aerial maneuvering against him, defeating him. Scarlet Rain then strikes him with the Judgment Blow, knocking him out of Brain Burst. Scarlet Rain later laments how, after Cherry Rook introduced her to Brain Burst, She became unaware of his problems after reaching level 9, but Silver Crow assures her that they can still be friends outside of the accelerated world. After ensuring that the armor of destruction has been completely destroyed, the group logs out. Silver Crow hears a faint echo but logs out, oblivious to the fact that a fragment of the armor has lynched onto his back. Later, Haru returns to Yuniko's apartment, where she explains why Cherry Rook was so desperate to become stronger. He was about to move in the real world and didn't want their bond and brain burst to be severed. However, thanks to Haru's assurance, she eventually realizes that there are more VR games that they could play together. If you want part 2, like this video and comment. See you on the next one.